Hey everyone, it's Mike from Chess Lifestyle, and good morning. Well, it's morning for me. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Probably good night, actually, to most of you who are watching this from the UK. Um, but yeah, no, today I woke up in a pretty good mood, and it's pretty rare, I think, that I wake up in the mornings and I'm actually looking forward to getting out of bed and going about my day. And the reason why is because I'm currently in Chiang Mai, and there is this one place that I've been really looking forward to go to. And the stupid thing was that, I pretty much booked this flight to Chiang Mai. I pretty much booked it to go visit this place. And I arrived Sunday evening, right? And it's now Wednesday. And I leave tomorrow, right? I leave on Thursday. And I didn't realize that the place was closed on Monday and Tuesday. So I've been chilling in Chiang Mai, and of course, I'm still having a lot of fun. But I wasn't able to do the thing that I set out to do, at least not until today. So that's why I'm quite excited about it. And the reason why I'm not revealing the place is because when I think about it, actually, the place is probably, at least going by my last experience there, was probably my favorite place I've ever experienced. I just really loved the place so much, and I realized that I was talking to the friend that actually took me there last year, and we were just catching up really sporadically. Like normally we don't talk, but we were just catching up, and she told me like, oh, you better not be telling everyone about this place because I guess she wants to gatekeep it, right? And me being me, like I just, I don't gatekeep shit, right? I just share it how it is, right? But then I was thinking more about it, and I was like, you know what? Like even in Bangkok, when I was on my travels, like I was telling people about this place, and it's like, why am I revealing this absolute gem of a place? Like I don't know. I suddenly understood like what it means to gatekeep in that split second. So yeah, maybe I won't reveal the place, but but the point, okay, maybe what I can reveal is that I ended up like smoking the best indica weed of my life at this place, and it hits good when it's so smooth to smoke. Your brain is so completely clear, and you wake up the next day with absolutely zero hangover, right? So it's just extremely pure stuff and extremely good stuff. And I remember just like like the kind of thoughts and reflections I was having during that high was just phenomenal. So no, I'm very much looking forward to today. And the other thing was I was actually going to stream some woodpecker this morning before before this rambling started. And yeah, I had this set up in my flat, my temporary flat, but I took it all down because I thought I wouldn't need to use my laptop anymore. And then I realized, oh, I've still got to stream. So then I was like, oh well, I'll stream on the balcony where it's outside and the weather is nice and it's sunny and it's vibes. But then I turned on my laptop and I realized it had no charge. So at that point I was like, you know what, screw it, I'll give myself the day off and not train any tactics. But what I will say is that I did wake up initially not wanting to train tactics, and I thought, you know what, I'll just do a rambling stream instead. But then I was like, you know what, I'll actually do the tactics. And I think that's the power of routine, because there's no other reason why I would have, persevered to actually train tactics if not for my laptop running out of charge and I had no way to charge it while sitting out here, and I'm not going to bother to, go through a whole moving everything around to create a setup just for a single. Nah, it's just not happening, right? So yeah, the fact that I was like infinitely closer to training tactics today, I think is a very good sign. I think it's a very good sign of the kind of routine that I've built, and yeah, the desire to keep going, to quote Killian Edith's bro. So yeah, welcome Franklin, welcome Killian. Haven't seen you guys here before, but yeah, welcome. Hi. So I thought while I'm here and while I'm, reflecting on shit anyway, and for the record, this is before I'm getting high, right, later today. So uh, yeah, today's going to be incredibly introspective. I can't wait, to be honest. Maybe one more thing I'll quickly share is that I actually have to go pick up a necklace at 11. It's like 9 right now. It's my own necklace, right? I bought it for myself. And I used to wear this necklace like all the time, but it broke. And I've been meaning to go fix it. But first of all, in the UK, it's hard to find places that fix stuff like that without charging extortionate rates. So I just brought it with me on a whim and was like, if I find somewhere to fix it, then I'll just get it fixed. And yeah, I found somewhere to fix it, fixing it like super cheap. So yeah, I have to go collect it today at 11. So I can't wait to actually be wearing that again. I mean, after that, I'm planning to just get some ramen. And I have a choice of 2 places actually of where I go because they're both phenomenal. So I'm just going to get some ramen lunch. And then the plan is I'm going to head to my place and I'm going to explain what I explained to you about the fact that, I literally came to Chiang Mai for this place. And I just stupidly didn't check the opening dates and it just closes on Monday, Tuesday, right? And hopefully spark up a nice conversation there and just spend the rest of the day there, which will probably be around 7 hours, which is going to be so good. It's going to be I love that place so much. So anyway, that's going to be my day. That's going to be my day. And maybe, maybe I'll come home and be like, you know what, I'm going to stream some tactics. If I do, that will be crazy. That will be crazy if I actually do like a double stream to get some tactics in. But I won't promise anything for sure. Welcome, Josh. Hope your night is chilling and going well. Definitely good morning where I am in the world. And for the record, a lot of people think of Southeast Asia as just always sunny or uncomfortably hot, right? But then you've got places like Chiang Mai, which okay, for periods of a year you can't really stay here because it gets like so polluted due to like the burning season. It's like not like pollution from cars and shit, but it's like pollution from burning of crops, right? Like all the smoke and the smog. So you shouldn't really stay here for your health during those months, like between like late March to like July. But aside from that, this is literally the perfect weather all year round, all day. It's just real bliss. Chiang Mai is great, like north of Thailand. But yeah, anyway, what I really wanted to get onto today was to discuss, where's my chess at? I haven't planned any of this. I don't plan any of my videos, right? But just to discuss where my chess is at, and let's have a conversation. Because I think it's useful to have, and we're approaching the end of the year, and I feel like ending we're all somewhat autistic, like we're on this channel, right? So we like numbers. And I think there is something satisfying about ending the year. It's a bit like how, let's say, 2000 rating has no intrinsic value, but it kind of does as well. And I think like when you end the year, it's also a good time to review. It just makes sense, right? But I won't be able to review properly. I won't be able to review properly going into the new year because I've got a bunch of chess taking place. So I think now is as good a time as ever, right, to do this review. So first of all, in terms of pure ratings and facts, my ECF hit a peak of 2100. I've gone back down a bit to 2096 after my final loss against Leon Lebedev. And I'll discuss this tournament very, very soon because I think it's quite insightful. But yeah, I hit 2100 ECF and I'm planning to use this momentum to keep pushing and go higher. In terms of FIDE, I'm currently at my peak of 2091. And I really didn't expect this, to be honest, because for a long, long time, I feel like it's been a part maybe a part of my identity is too strong, but definitely a weight on my shoulders that I was always worried about dipping below 2000. And what my coach Roger said to me was, what you really need to do is establish a buffer. Because for him, he's like, high 2200s, 2300 ECF. And for him, definitely is part of his identity to be above 2200 ECF. But what he said was like, he's come down close to dropping below 2200. But because he has such a buffer, even if he's having a unlucky string of games or even just bad form, he basically stays above it. And I feel like I'm at the point now where I can afford to have a very bad tournament and it not ruin my identity as a 2000 plus player. So this is a very nice place to be. Very, very nice place to be. Because I definitely had some issues. Because I feel like, I try and be as authentic as possible where possible. And, when I crossed 2000 for the first time and then dipped immediately back below it, I found it hard to identify as a 2000 and tell people with, full confidence that I am a 2000 player, what's up? Because I felt like, I wasn't, right? But now I feel like I've kind of earned it, right? Well, once you get to like 2091, you can kind of, reassure yourself that, you're a 2000 player in strength. Noyan says he's not artistic. That says it all. Crazy History says, have a great Christmas. Thank you. I hope you do too. ECF is at a peak for Josh, but Leech has dropped this year. Interesting. Yeah, I think it's weird, actually. I mean, I definitely also experienced... No, that's not true. I reached a peak bullet rating of 2678, I think. I know Blitz has obviously dipped, but just because of the Chess Mood Grand Prix. Speaking of which, I've emailed the company, I've messaged them on Lichess. Absolutely no response. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up airing me because it's just not worth their time to deal with. And at the end of the day, what am I going to do about it? Which is kind of sad because, I mean, Chess Mood, like they have like the happiness team or something. I don't know. To me, I've always had this feeling. Okay, maybe not always. At first, I kind of bought into it a bit, but I kind of got this feeling that they're overcompensating too much. At the end of the day, like I feel like they're still a company that is hustling to make profit, and they just play on this role of like, oh, we're a family. We love everyone. We love you. Join our academy because you'll feel heard, you'll feel loved. And I remember when I joined several years ago for the first time, and I had this like 15-minute Grandmaster call, and I had all these personal questions about my chess training and my chess goals. And the guy I was talking to, I won't name and shame, but the GM I was talking to, he wasn't listening to me. He literally was hearing what I was saying, answer it in a very like 10-second answer, and then just go back to his monotonous reading the script. And then it was just a waste of 15 minutes. And I was just like, well, that was rubbish. So I don't know. We'll see what the happiness team get up to. But I'm not looking hopeful that they're going to show any sort of justice towards my situation with the Chess Mood Grand Prix. For anyone wondering who hasn't heard, basically there was a year-long tournament, a freaking year. Every month there were qualification tournaments, and my team, Chess Lifestyle, was the only team out of all the teams that qualified to the final that didn't, just buy in random grandmasters to compete for them. So we were the only organic team that made it to the finals. And the top 10 teams make it to the finals, and there are prizes for the top 10. But the way that the tournament is organized is that they only award the prizes based on your standings in the finals. And they decided that less than 24 hours before the finals began that they were going to add a wildcard team. That was another shitty team that just filled itself up with grandmasters that were getting paid. And so obviously we came 11th, right, in these grand finals. And we didn't win our prize of $200, which was not very nice. But what to do? What to do? I mean, it's $200 at the end of the day. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I'll just take the L and just pay up and lose $200 out of my pocket. Like, I realize, I don't have to. At the end of the day, it's really Chess Mood's doing, but I don't know. Like, it's $200, man. Just it's not that deep. Like, I'll just skip eating ramen for some days and like eat instant noodles instead. It's really not that deep. Anyway, we're talking about my chess. So let's get back to my chess before I make a whole video about Chess Mood. Yeah, no, genuinely a surprise motherfucker. For real. Like that was the reaction. I was like, you don't have a tournament that has 10 months of qualifications for 10 teams to reach the finals with 10 prizes allocated for the finals for you to just add a wild card 11th team. Like, that makes no intuitive sense. And like, then they're trying to like almost gaslight me, right? They're like, oh, but this has always been in the rules. And it's like in the fine print of some tiny like rule of a rule that says, Chess Mood hold jurisdiction to add wildcard teams at their disclosure. And it's just like, yeah, mate, sure. It's just like, imagine like, I don't know, the freaking Champions League, and then, well, that's the thing, right? Actually, the Champions League, you can't just add like, you get to the round of 16 and then you add a 17th team. Like, it literally breaks the format. But with the Chess Mood finals, because I guess it's an arena tournament, you could technically have as many teams as you want. It's just stupid. It's just ridiculous. Welcome, Jan, to the stream. This is a therapy stream. Not quite. I mean, basically, my laptop ran out of charge. I wanted to stream outside today, so I couldn't. So I thought let's just check in with myself and discuss my chess. So okay, we talked about the facts. About the fact that I'm a firm 2000 rated FIDE player with a peak of 2091. I have also peaked at 2100 FIDE and 2100 ECF and look to go higher. And yeah, maybe what next thing I'll cover is the fact that I have a lot of tournaments coming up. Actually, literally a couple of days ago, I got confirmation that I was no longer on the waiting list for the Tata Steel Amateur Weekend tournament. So I booked my place, booked the flights, and the great thing about Tata Steel is like it's held in Vacancy, which is a train ride away, I hope, from Amsterdam. And Amsterdam is like the cheapest European city to get to from the UK. So I literally booked a cheap ass flight under 100 quid return to Amsterdam for the dates I wanted. And yeah, I'll be going with some friends. Hopefully I can crash at their Airbnb. I've got Fonciel, and then I've got league matches. I'm playing in both the Merseyside League and the Wirral League. Then I'm playing in Tata Steel, and I'm making it ECF rated because we're on that ECF grind to National Master. I'm then playing Blackpool Congress. Then I'm playing more league matches, and more Fonciel. And by the summer, before the British Championships, I should have probably around 30 to 35 games. I've also got like the internal club competition at Liverpool Chess Club. And the winner actually gets their name engraved on this table that is 200 years old and has Liverpool is apparently the oldest chess club in the UK. So it's like this super prestigious table and stuff. I'm not too bothered, I think nowadays it's kind of lost its prestige a little bit in terms of like the players who have their name signed on it. Like for the record, I'm top seed in this internal club tournament because all of the top players at Liverpool Club can't be bothered, right? So that says it all. But the point is, I've got around like 35 games of chess, and 35 games is a huge swing, and the 100 elo gain is definitely doable. But the thing is, it's not just about crossing 2200. It's I have to maintain it for a whole year of another 30 games. So, given that I also want to move to Southeast Asia, that's going to make things hard. That's going to make things hard to, reach 2200 and then play enough games to maintain it. But I will. I'll get it done. Not that I'll get to 2200 for sure. I mean, there's definitely no guarantee. But in terms of like, if I do get to 2200, then of course I'm gonna stick it out and really try and grind for that NM, because I hate the idea of being super close to an achievement and then missing out. I'm not the kind of person actually that we'll work for something, get super close, and then miss out. Like, nah, I just you just lock in and you get the job done, right? I saw there was a little pop up that said start a Q&A. Yo chat, ask me anything about my chess growth this past. This. Oh, I've run out of words. Wait. Let me. No. Okay, I've done. Okay, we'll go with that. Answer will appear as chat messages. Yo, I'm way too boomers for this. Let me try this. Okay. Wait, I can move it, thank God. I was like, I've put this question in the middle of the damn screen, so it's gonna cover my face. Okay, we'll do it like that. So you're welcome to ask. You gotta rent a bike for Amsterdam? Isn't oh, let this plane go past it. Yeah, aren't bikes like one of the most common way people get injured in Amsterdam? Because like they zoom over like the tram tracks and then they like stack it. I swear that's a thing. Yeah, I've been to Amsterdam multiple times. If I get the chance, I'll definitely check out the Laurier Boom Cafe, because it's like this really nice chess pub where they have like wooden sets that you pull out the wall, a bit like like the freaking like wands in Harry Potter, right? It's almost the same kind of vibe. That's a question for us, not a question for you. Oh, did I mess this up? God, I don't know. Nah, it's a question for me. What are you talking about? Okay, great question, Josh. How have your openings evolved in 2025? So let me think hard about this. So July of 2024, I published C3 Venom. And October of 2025, I published my Durgan Into Modern course. And these are two staple openings of my repertoire. And of course, like I published this Benoni course in early 2025 on the Benoni on YouTube. So I think these three openings are definitely part of my repertoire now. And until I reach NM, I'm not willing to change an experiment, because I low-key know that this is what's going to give me the best shot at reaching NM. So as much as sometimes I get the bug to try something different, just because I kind of like the idea of playing some different types of positions sometimes, I know that I kind of have weaknesses about my chess that are accentuated in lines outside of this narrow repertoire. So my repertoire is definitely at a very stable point in that sense. I really don't fear people's preparation. For instance, in this recent tournament in London, I got 1 win, 1 draw, and 3 losses. right? I was playing everyone 2150 ECF and above, so it was a tough tournament for me. Because I'm not so used to playing players of this level, every single round. Like maybe I can like lock in for a single game, but when it's like 5 days straight of this kind of caliber, it's tough. But the one game I won was in the Garganetsa Modern, right? And I didn't change any move orders. I just played it as it is. And yeah, the experience and knowledge and understanding pays off. I think one aspect I do need to just work on a bit more. Actually, I don't want to reveal it. There's basically a slight hole in my openings right now. And I haven't quite reached a solution, but that's fine. Because it's quite a rare situation to arise, and also in most cases my opponent's not even going to punish me should that situation arise. So basically, no, opening wise it's very good. It's very, very good. And maybe everyone is different in this regard, but I generally like stability in things. Like it might sound weird to say, because probably from, if you watch any of the videos on my YouTube channel, like I seem like a pretty impulsive, spontaneous guy, right? Which is also true. But I like the impulsive spontaneity from a place of stability, at least when it comes to life. And to be honest, because I take chess more seriously than I do take life, that's when stability matters even more, right? Because stability leads to consistency, which leads to results. And that is where I feel super good about my headspace, about my openings, because I have that sense of stability of, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I can go into any tournament, anytime, and play by repertoire and feel confident that I know what I'm doing. I understand these positions probably better than my opponent. And that's a very good place to be. Like imagine if you woke up in life and you just woke up and you knew that, yeah, you understand what you're doing in this world relative to yourself better than anyone you can meet out there. Like that's a good feeling, right? So I feel like, yeah, to answer your question, Josh, how have your openings evolved? Maybe evolved, I didn't quite answer. I'd say actually in 2025, most of my evolution came from, I guess, more of my, that's not true. I was going to say my black repertoire, because probably like January, February, I really went hard on the Garganetsa to really get it up to a publishable standard, right? Because I have standards when it comes to publishing things. So yeah, my Garganetsa experienced a lot of growth in early January. At the time, I was also in Indonesia for some of it, so I ended up playing a lot of training games with Lewis Garuda Pura, who is another chess YouTube channel you should absolutely check out. But he's like 2700 Blitz on chess.com, and we were just playing lots of Blitz non-stop. And because he's a diehard E4 player, we basically played. Let me sort out my hat. We played a lot of Blitz, and we played a lot of Garganetsa. So I really felt like my Garganetsa was getting tested, and I was doing really well with it. Because he's also an openings expert, so this also made it more of a challenge, because he'd go away and actually work on trying to refute the Garganetsa, and it was a good feeling to know that even this guy's 2700 Blitz, who's like, checking with an engine, he can't get winning positions out of the opening. So that experienced some growth. Then my Benoni also experienced some growth, because I was creating this course for my student George, which I published to YouTube. And again, I had to make sure that I absolutely knew how to deal with everything my opponent can throw at me. And this required research, this required time, this required work, and then this also led to evolution. So I feel like they just became a lot more robust as a result of having to do work for others, right? It's quite hard to motivate yourself to work for yourself, but if your job is to work for someone else, you don't want to disappoint them, right? And this is why actually when it comes to training chess, like training with someone is also a very good idea, because you kind of feel somewhat responsible for their growth, so you don't want to let them down. I'll let this plane pass. So first of all, congrats Austin on the 600 subs. Is it a chess channel? Hope it's going well. In terms of biking in Amsterdam, I have ridden a bike in Amsterdam multiple times, so it's not like I need to experience this. Like, I have. Maybe I'm just not that crazy about bikes. I know it's nice, you ride in some nice parks and stuff, but like. But yeah, no, it's interesting to see, like, obviously I'm in touch with a lot of people within the chess world, and it's so funny how a lot of people are sticking openings, even though, and I'm not just calling out you, Jan, like, I don't like it because I just read your comment, but no, I'm talking about a lot of different people who are so adamant with sticking with their openings, even though half the time they are moaning about aspects that are literally intrinsic to that opening. It's like, just change. Because this is the funny thing, like, fear of changes is actually what prevents you from evolving, both in chess and both as a person. And what you've got to realize is that, funnily enough, changing openings is not an irreversible change. You can change it, and 6 months later, you can change back. The only thing you've lost is time, but the potential gain of actually learning that an opening isn't for you and that you're barking up the wrong tree is next to none, right? Like, I spent a whole year dedicating myself to learning one E4 lines. I've spent more than a year dedicating myself to Sveshnikov theory. And I probably know Sveshnikov theory than a lot of people who play Sveshnikov at a tournament level. But the value in finding out that actually the opening isn't for me and enables me to be more confident at playing the current lines that I play is second to none. I mean, this is absolutely huge. And I wouldn't have come across the Gergenitsa had I not, been open to change. So I think it's really, like, it depends what your goal is. I mean, if your goal is to find chess that fulfills you and enables you to optimize your playing ability and reach the peak of your potential, then you should listen to my advice. But if your goal in chess is to, I don't know, make it an exercise to try and play objectively the best moves from move 1, and if you fail, then so be it. Well, then so be it. You can do that as well. So, but what really matters is your choices in your chess development are in tune with your motivation and goal and value as a chess player, right? Like, if your values in life, let's say, are to be free, and you spend your whole life not being free, well, then you're not living a very good life, right? You need to check in with yourself, which is part of this video, right? We're trying to check in with yourself. So maybe on that note, what is my chess goal? What is my chess motivation? And I think for me, I want to be able to optimize and reach the potential of my playing ability based on the maximum effort I'm willing to put into the game. And that maximum effort has definitely come down a lot, because I realize there are actually things that, I look forward to when I wake up in the morning. For instance, this place where I'm going later today. I'm going to spend like 7 hours there and have the best time. And chess doesn't need to be a part of that. So, I'm not willing to sacrifice that, for instance, to make sure I train 8 hours a day. Whereas, for instance, I remember I played in France and I lost to a WIM who recently lost her job. So she's just been grinding chess all day, every day. She has the goal to become WGM. She's extremely hardworking. And even though I would say that in terms of raw talent, I'm not that talented. I have more talent than her. But she's training 8 hours a day. And that's the kind of dedication that I don't have. Maybe that'll change someday. But I also see it's less likely. I feel like that kind of phase came and went. So what I really want to achieve is based on the amount of effort that I'm willing to put in, which is still a considerable amount of effort compared to a lot of people. I want to reach the maximum of my potential. And I think the maximum of my potential is somewhere within the realms of NM to FM kind of level. And to me, it's not just about the rating, but I think the rating is a very clear indication of strength. Because if, for instance, I were to look at myself right now as a chess player, and I were to look at myself 4 years ago as a chess player, and I looked at these two different players, it wouldn't be immediately obvious who was the stronger player. Because I'd look at some games from 4 years ago, and I'd be like, bro, you are a sick chess player. But at the end of the day, the rating is kind of an indication of strength, right? Because in order to get the rating, there has to be this level of consistency and this level of consistency of play, right? Of playing strength. So the fact that I'm 2091 FIDE rated now, compared to dipping above and below 2000, that is a clear indication that we have improved. So for me, getting the NM or FM, it's not really a matter of, it's not quite a matter of rating. It's more of just a reassurance that, yeah, we're actually strong. And I'm realizing that my alarm is going off in my flat because I set an alarm to wake up. So let me go switch that off. I don't want to snooze the alarm as well. I hate technology, man. Okay, there we go. Alarms off there. Okay, hopefully that didn't disconnect the stream by going off the app. Okay, let me check. Catch up on some of the comments. Okay, I need to go back quite a bit. If you don't want people to prep you got to play multiple openings. I disagree. I think at the very least, though, you do need multiple lines within your openings. And that can actually deter someone from trying to play into your opening more than just learning multiple openings. And I think it's a pretty cool thing. I love the idea of knowing multiple lines within an opening and then being able to pick and choose depending on your opponent, depending on yourself. I think that's super cool. And I wouldn't say that I've actually got there yet with my openings. I'm far from it even. But it's definitely some kind of like lifetime goal, which would be very cool. That's really interesting, Josh, how you've stopped the Naidov and started with Petrov. I think if that's like, yeah, I think that's a really healthy conclusion. Like, obviously, there'll be some people who switch from Petrov to Naidov. But I mean, if you make the switch, yeah, like it's really telling, right? If you have all this experience and knowledge of a particular opening, and even then you decide to switch to something you have much less experience and knowledge of, that's just a clear sign that the switch is meant for you, right? So Jan says, I'm just not Michael. I have good success with my openings. I usually know it deeper than my opponent and get better positions. Only thing is I'm too lazy to learn Benoni lines because I always mix them up. That's true. But the thing is, Jan, I also think there's an important difference between an objectively good position, better position out of opening and a better position that you actually are able to convert and win the game. Because I remember when I was playing 1e4, I was probably getting objectively better positions than I do with C3 Venom. And my results were like 40% instead of like 60, 70%. So let that sink in. I remember there was one line of the French where I would literally be close to +3, and my record with it was 0 for 5. How can you be a +3 position where you're a piece for 2 pawns up and have 0 for 5? Right? And of course you can just say get better. But seriously, I tried to improve every single time I lost, and yet I was still losing. Like, that says something, right? It says there's something more to just objective evaluations of resulting positions from openings. Also for Benoni, then just play anti-Benoni. There are so many lines that like prevent Benoni. But I know you won't play an anti-Benoni because you're so determined to prove that Benoni is bad, and an objective eval of +0.6 against the Benoni is worth, I don't know, man. We're very different. We're very different. And yeah, I'm as strong. I strongly vouch for the way I think about these things because I don't know. I've seen it improve so many of my students who aren't exactly like myself either. I don't know. I just think it's the correct way to think about it, unless we're talking about players of like 2600 level and above. Which, if that's your goal, then fair enough. But if that's not your goal, then I feel like I'm going to be very mean and say you're wrong. But you do you, Jan. Like, I will just continue to roast you for the end of time. I wish I could empty my brain of useless chess theory and fill it with useful stuff, which is why it's so important to look around, right? When you're young, because if you let's say we spend the next 30 years playing the same opening and we realize that this isn't actually for us, oh my god, like the transition is gonna be so much harder. So my memory is not that good. Do you think it's possible I could get to 1200? Bro, I guarantee my memory is worse than yours, Zert. I guarantee my memory is worse than yours. It's so bad. So obviously, of course, yes, you can double that. You can get to 2400. Okay, maybe not 2400 FIDE with bad memory. It's tough. Maybe it's doable. But no, for sure. 2400 online, easy. Not easy, but it's doable. That's what I'm trying to say. Welcome, Stephen, to the stream. How's it going? Got a big yes. The other funny thing is, because I'm in Thailand, every time someone new comments in English, there's like a Google Translate button to translate it to Thai. It's crazy. Okay, sorry, I did temporarily block the stream. So basically just checking in, you're talking about rating. Yeah, so sorry, when the title of the stream, mentally checking in, I guess at the start of the stream I did talk a bit more about general life things, which are generally all positive, so it's not like bad reflections. But I guess no, obviously I wanted to try and bring it towards chess, because this is a chess channel after all, right? Yeah, my hair's not dyed. KK, are you from like Malaysia chess by any chance? Because probably the last time I had dyed hair was during Malaysia. Did you read John Bartholomew's Lee Chess post? I did not. Please link it to me. I'm down to read it. He said something really interesting. He basically said an opening course isn't about showing the best moves. Yeah, it's really not. I mean, I got so much hate on Chessable. Like, I was battling. I've probably wasted a total of 24 hours plus. No, it's more than 24 hours. 72 hours on engaging with people far below my level who are just spouting stockfish evals and basically trying to tell me I'm wrong about the lines that I'm advocating for. And I'm just like, well, have you actually tried playing the positions? Would you rather a position that is objectively worse, that in practice scores great results and generally becomes objectively better? Like, there's that general direction. Or would you rather a position that's objectively better, but it's like super difficult to play, and 9 times out of 10 you're going to collapse and blunder? And they just can't believe it because they spend more time studying than playing. And yeah, that's the kind of conclusions you draw when you don't actually play the opening. Yeah, the problem is I don't like positions that are highly complicated that you get from a Benoni. Well, that's not a problem if there's a solution. And the solution is you just don't enter a Benoni. It's as simple as that. And the thing is, it's like, sure, when you have the position d4, knight f6, c4, c5, in that position, you turn on Stockfish Engine. There is only one move to be objectively better, which is to push d5 and enter a Benoni. All the other lines are plus 0.1, maybe plus 0.2 if you're lucky, or zeros, or better for black. But you just pick one of the lines that are plus 0.1, plus 0.2, use the fact that you're playing a Benoni player who wants to play a Benoni and will be frustrated that they're not getting a Benoni, and just outplay them. Like, if you don't believe you can outplay people from equal positions, then get my C3 Venom course and see the evidence, because an equal position is not the same as a drawn game. An equal position is just a level starting point in which the game can kind of head in either direction, depending on the skill of the player. And often, the skill of the player is not just in terms of inherent talent, it's a mix, right? It's a mix of experience, a mix of understanding, a mix of skill, a mix of talent, a mix of everything. So an equal position is just you're starting off a race from the starting point on the finish, on the starting line. Who cares? Like, okay, it's like, would you rather, let's say your opponent is the Benoni player, right? And the Benoni player doesn't like playing against anti-Benonis. Would you rather have a 100-meter race against Usain Bolt where you start 1 foot further from the starting line than Usain Bolt? Or would you rather play like B-Tech Usain Bolt, who's like, I don't know, diabetic and out of their comfort zone, but you start on the same starting line, right? Is that clear enough? It's like, I don't know how to make it as clearer than this, but this is how it is. This is how it is. And it takes so long for people to appreciate this. I don't know. I think like it's pretty clear as day to me. Like the only difference, right? The only difference is when you're playing at 2600 level, and then your opponents, who are, let's say, dealing with an anti-Benoni, is going to be playing against Usain Bolt either 1 foot ahead or Usain Bolt on the starting line. And only in that kind of situation, then fine, take that 1 foot advantage and, become a Usain Bolt yourself, where you can also compete, with Usain Bolt, right? But until you're at that level where you can actually be that Usain Bolt, then it's much more important that you're playing against your opponent and you're also maximizing your strengths. To me, it's very obvious, right? Yeah, so okay, Steven's saying, John Parfomni said something like the opening course is about giving people positions they can play. I guarantee y'all, my memory is worse than Michael's. I really don't think so. Maybe my chess memory is probably the strongest type of memory that I have, because I think it's very image-based. It's also based on something I understand and know very well. So I think I have better memory in things that I understand and also have a lot of daily practice of, right? I see chess all the time, so it's like easier for me to remember. But when it comes to things in life, it's hopeless, really hopeless. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you just, again, with all these problems that you might experience in life, if you tailor your life in a way to sidestep the problem, then it's not really a problem. I mean, it's a privilege, for sure. Like, some people can't avoid their problems. But if you can avoid your problems, and you're not avoiding your problems, then I think you're selling your life experience short. So that's something to reflect upon. If you're someone that has problems in life, if you've done absolutely everything you can to potentially fix it, then okay, this is another thing. But a lot of people actually don't solve their problems enough. It's right, like, I don't know, I was planning a meetup with some close school friends of mine, right? And I told them that I was free on these 2 particular days in January. And then one of them said, Michael, that's a Monday. Some of us have jobs. And I found this comment very funny, right? Because, yeah, I have a job. And she's clearly jealous of the fact that I don't have to work a full day on a Monday. But it's like, she could do that as well, easily. She easily has the professional qualifications to work far less and make far more. But does she? No. She'd rather work, more hours than a 9 to 5. Because that's the circumstances that she's been dealt. But it's really not the case if you're willing to actually try and improve your situation. And I think that should always be the point of life. Like, if you're not trying to improve your situation to live a better life, then what are you doing? I don't know, that's how I see it, at least. On a very side note, I was watching a YouTube video yesterday, which I thought was absolutely, unbelievably fascinating, about a drug called salvia. Now, the first thing I'm going to disclaim is I am not recommending anyone to take this drug, okay? The second thing I'm going to disclaim is that this drug has next to no toxicity to it. So it's a drug that you can take, you cannot overdose on it, you could take way too much of it and have an incredibly horrific trip, but you cannot die from it. So that's the next thing to note. It's a naturally occurring drug that was used a lot in like Aztec times. But hear me out. This drug, salvia, is probably the most powerful type of dissociative drug. So with these kind of hardcore drugs, you've kind of got like psychedelic drugs, dissociative drugs, and what's the other one? See, my memory's so bad, right? It's another D. It's the bad one that like you never want to take. Anyway, I've forgotten the exact word. Let's call it derailment or something. It's not derailment. I don't know. It's another day. Anyway, this is the strongest type of dissociative drug, where it's so strong, where you will have a trip of maybe around like half an hour, but you will experience the feeling of being often an inanimate object looking from a third party view for several years. And you experience living every year of every month, of every day, of every minute, of every second of that experience. And you'll wake up half an hour later as if you really genuinely experienced it. And I think that is unbelievable that there's a plant that can do that. And the stories that I was reading, there's so many stories to the point where you know that it's people really have experienced this shit. Are just horrific. I mean, there's some way worse than others, right? I mean, of course, it depends what type of like inanimate object you're stuck being and what kind of dissociative experience you have. I mean, the point is that you basically forget that you're on a trip. You also forget that you're a human. You forget that you have a name. You forget everything about your life. You're kind of experiencing based on a string of imagination that your brain can only tap into because other aspects of your brain are blocked, right? So it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But the fact that it has absolutely no health risks and absolutely no way of overdosing, I think that it could be the most profound experience ever, which I'm not willing to take anytime soon. But it's the kind of thing I would take if, let's say, I outlive all the people I care about, and maybe I even get like terminal illness and I know the end is near. Yo, imagine being like I know it's the most horrifying experience to be stuck like that, where you can't sleep, you can't move, you can't. Well, different people have it differently, right? Like those yeah, one story that like I don't know, you saw someone who could move, but he was just in a vast emptiness and was just stuck there for like years on end. I don't know. I think it's crazy. And the other crazy thing I learned as well is like the other very powerful drug, um, the most extreme drug on the psychedelic end is just like DMT, right? And what's fascinating is that every human has a pinch of DMT in their body, and there's actually scientific uh, papers written showing that when people experience near-death experience, there is that is when that DMT gets released, and that's why there's always that that myth, or it's not a myth, right? That saying that some people have their life flash by across their eyes, right, while they're in that near-death experience, and it's because that DMT also has a similar effect where it can distort time to the brain. And that's a really interesting thing because, you might think that time is just, you experience it based on every second. But your actual power of your brain, right? Like, isn't there that thing, right? That like, your brain's not even on full capacity on a day-to-day basis. Like the power of your brain can actually do so much more and see so much more and experience so much more in a short space of time in the right conditions. So yeah, I don't know. I thought that was fascinating. I thought that was really fascinating. Um, but no, of course, like the biggest risk and the only cases of death associated with a drug like salvia is if, let's say, you jump out of a window accidentally because you don't realize, you don't understand like what's going on anymore, right? So you might think that you're a bird flying in the sky because you are a bird flying in the sky, and then you just your physical body doesn't appreciate what's going on in your head, and you just accidentally kill yourself, right? So no, if I ever were to do it, then of course I'd have like probably multiple trip sitters. And I'd also want trip sitters because then, like, when I explain this story of a lifetime, I can make sure that it's all recorded, right? And I have people who can ask insightful questions to kind of, make an even greater document of the experience. I don't know. I thought that was fascinating. Bit of a detour. But yeah. Why are you in Thailand? Okay. The truth of it is I recently secured a 5-year visa for Thailand. And I'm not moving here permanently right now because, as you know, I've got chess goals, right? I want to get national master. I've also got particular commitments. For instance, the flat I'm staying in, like, my contract doesn't end until like August. So basically, the real reason why I'm in Thailand right now is like it's not appropriate to reveal, but no, long term, I plan to move there, at least semi-permanently for several years, because what a place to be. Absolutely what a place to be. And I think for anyone who doesn't know what Thailand is or hasn't experienced it, I think the best way to describe it, which I actually heard from a very wise Turkish dude I was drinking with the other day, is that the place is just chaotic balance at its finest. It's like an extremely, extremely chaotic place where things just kind of happen, and even though there's regulation, it's not really upheld, but somehow it all clicks into place, into some kind of harmony where it actually works. So there is chaotic balance to Thailand, and I'm all for it, because I think if you were to put me on the spectrum of like, this from lawful, neutral, chaotic, and evil, neutral, good, I think I'm very much a chaotic, neutral kind of guy, and I think that's quite reflected in Bangkok and Thailand in general. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Josh, you just said 12 wins, 20 losses in the Petrov. To be honest, I don't know what those results are. Are they online results? Are they in person results? If those were in person results, then I'd probably say it's time to try something different. Like 30 games is definitely enough to know, and there's enough openings that you might find something even better. So I wouldn't stick with it longer than necessary. And even if you've bought a book, even if you've bought a course, it's not worth it to stick with it if it's not actually um, right for you. Stephen says, about engine lines, I 100% agree with you. I remember, this is from Stephen, I remember studying Mikhail Marin's English, very engine proof, and nobody knows why it's +2. Yeah, right. Oh, you say love the analogy? I guess this must be the Usain Bolt analogy. Yeah, it was a bit random, but hopefully you guys got the picture. Yeah, that's completely fair. Yeah, and probably like the London is the most system opening that you can find with the white pieces. So, um, in terms of plans and ideas, is really fantastic. At least the way you taught it to me, Stephen. Like it really made a lot of sense. Well, if I play d4, knight f6, c4, c5, knight f3, c takes d4, I get the position I get with black against knight f3, but with an extra tempo. What's your line against knight f3? Because to me, that doesn't make any sense. Unless it's a situation where maybe you're playing e6 or something, and then you end up playing e5 and you lose the tempo that way. Yeah, true. That is an annoying line. It's called the Kasparov's gambit, right? Like d4, knight f6, c4, c5, knight f3, c takes d4, knight takes d4, e5, knight b5, and black can go d5 there. And when c takes d5, black cannot recapture everything because there's a fork on c7 where you lose the queen. But after c takes d5, you just play bishop c5, and it's objectively kind of fine. But even that line, you can play testing stuff for white, and trust me, black players do not know it well enough because it's such a niche line. Like black players never get it, and if you know it really well, then yeah, this is strong. Jan, when are we meeting up? I mean, I met you this year, so what do you expect from me? We're gonna meet up more than once a year? You gotta be kidding. Jan says salvia has not been studied. It is not clear if it has low toxicity or has long-term effects. I disagree. I feel like it has been studied enough to determine that it has low toxicity. Long-term effects, I mean, okay, sure, like from a psychological perspective, like obviously it's gonna have long-term effects. Delusion, depressive, no. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm so mad I've forgotten it. Terrible memory, terrible memory. If it comes to me, I'll let you guys know. No, it's God, I don't know. It's kind of like you know all these like heroin and fentanyl and that kind of stuff. I think that's the D word that I'm looking for. Like, maybe I should just say death, but no, I don't know. Peter says take salvia drug to become the C3 Venom course and instantly know all the lines. If only you could pick and choose. Oh, if you could pick and choose, then 100% I'm doing the drug. But it's the fact that it's completely random to whatever your brain is wired to. Michael's stories are so long. He's still at yesterday's comments. I know. I'm catching up. It's taking a long time. No health risk? Yeah, people say this and do permanent damage to their brains. I'd call it health risk. I don't think it's permanent damage. Having a lived experience for 15 years and having that recollection and memory is not permanent damage. It doesn't harm your brain. You can look it up. Look up the scientific papers on it. There's no evidence that salvia has any toxicity to the drug and has some permanent damage. Obviously, the lived experience of 15 years as a freaking rock is obviously going to have huge long-term implications on you, but that's not from like a physical point of view. It's like someone who's, let's say, experienced 15 years in a war. Yeah, if you want to call that a health risk, then fine. But it's not like the same type of physical health risk that, let's say, alcohol has on your body, right? Completely different. Say hi to all the German sex tourists in Thailand from me. That's crazy. I did meet a German tourist in the last Blitz tournament I played. Actually, the Blitz tournament I played, I think I mentioned it just before the Chess Mood tournament, but it was really interesting because I feel like I really performed exactly how I should perform at this point in time. Like I lost to the Laos #1 player. I lost to a 2150 head coach from Macedonia who's organizing a lot of chess in Thailand. And then I drew to the two most talented Thai juniors, at least in Bangkok. And then I beat everyone else. And it was so, oh my God, let me share with you this story because I haven't mentioned this at all. But there was the absolute biggest massive fucking cunt that I've come across on the chessboard. And I've come across many, many dickheads on the chessboard. But this guy, oh my fucking God, he scares the shit out of me because he's got that fucking psychopath stare to him. Like that kind of bad kind of autism, right? And he's from the US. And he's like, I don't know, probably in his like late 30s, fucking bald-headed, like testosterone-fueled fuck, right? And I played C3 Venom against him, completely outplayed him from start to finish. I was playing very fast. He was taking too much time on his moves. He was rated 2000, right? And I beat him. I crush him. He runs out of time as well. Okay, I'll let this plane go past him. But okay, I beat him, right? And normally when I beat a player, I try and like obviously I'm not gonna gloat in their face and tell them exactly how I beat them, right? But he started like commenting after the game, like he was like, oh, I could bet any money that I beat you. And I was kind of like not even understanding what you're saying. I was like, what's he on about? And he was just like, it was just like from personal insult to excuse about why he lost, and then excuse about why he's a better player than me, and then back to personal insult. And I just couldn't believe my ears because it was just so unfounded because it was an unrated tournament. Like, who the fuck cares? And I was just so shocked from it. I didn't even like have anything witty to reply or anything. I just said like, I mean, I was just pretty. What did I say exactly? I said like, I think I said something like, I felt pretty in control that game, and I just left it there. And basically, I ended up talking to some of the other people who run these tournaments at Bangkok at the Red Knight Chess Club, and they were just like, yeah. He's definitely a difficult player to deal with. The annoying thing is he's also kind of strong apparently, and sometimes he just like crushes these events like 7 out of 7. But this event he had a very bad tournament, so that made me very happy. But it's crazy to hear the amount of frustration that he had, and not only would he project it onto other people, but also like the amount of frustration he'd have on himself was just crazy. And there was a really funny moment later in the tournament as well, because he ended up losing a king and pawn endgame, which was, theoretically lost. one of those simple ones, like king and pawn against king. And then there was like this Russian 1500 who went up to him, telling him that the position was actually drawn. And this American guy was getting so fucking heated. And he was like, there is no way you're telling me something about pawn endgames that I don't already know. And he was fuming that this Russian 1500 was so adamant that he was wrong. Even though, he wasn't wrong. Obviously, it was a loss. But, oh, it was so funny. It was so funny. So I don't know. I think these are the worst kind of people, worst kind of chess players as well, that have such a fragile ego that they have to just take everyone around them down a notch just to justify, their existence. It's just cringe. It's just really cringe. But at the end of the day, it's like literally everyone dislikes this guy. And I guess the reason why it crossed my mind as well is you mentioned like German sex tourists, Jan. I mean, I feel sorry for every girl that probably has had to deal with this guy. And the lucky thing with Thailand, at least, is that these girls, these hookers, right? These girls that have to deal with the sex tourism, they have the ability to say no. Like Thailand is a country where the bosses of these girls are on very good terms with the girls, and the girls absolutely have the choice to say no. So at least their experience with this guy will be limited to one time only, and yeah, they'll be able to say no, and the boss will literally tell the guy to get the fuck out if he insists. So yeah, Thailand is cool for that. Yeah, what a terrible human being. And it kind of makes me sad that like I'm not in Thailand more right now, because I wanna show up to every damn event and beat him. But the annoying thing is he doesn't have a FIDE Blitz rating, and that's because he only plays unrated events, because he can't allow his ego to be broken by getting a shit Blitz FIDE Elo. So he only plays unrated Blitz events, and literally he will play like the Bangkok Blitz Chess Cup, which is every Friday evening. And the only time he wouldn't play is when there's a FIDE rated event, because once a month they make it FIDE rated, right? So it's so funny. It's so funny that he just avoids it. So yeah. But no, if I'm living in Thailand and I see he's entered a FIDE Rapid or Blitz, I'm gonna sign up just to fucking shark that guy and make sure that he has like as low of a starting rating as possible. Like I will spite beat this guy, right? Man, what a terrible person. The other very funny thing was there is one opponent in Thailand who absolutely despises me for good reason. And that is because I had a 5-0 win rate against this guy. His name is Nikolai, and his rating is similar to mine. And he's from Russia. And he's a very strong player. But last year, I had a month in Thailand. I played him on 5 separate occasions in different tournaments, 2 of which were rated. 3 of which were rated, 2 of which were unrated, right? And I have a 5-0 record against him. And he was so frustrated because every time we played, I would get the white pieces. So this poor guy was basically playing black against my C3 Venom 5 out of 5 games, and he lost every single game. And he's the kind of guy who studies a lot on openings and plays objectively the best lines, right? And yeah, I was just outplaying him every game. And this year, again, in the final round of this Blitz tournament that I played in, I was paired up against Nikolai, and I got the black pieces. So at the start of the game, I said, at least he got the white pieces this time. Something like this, right? And he's a pretty Russian kind of guy, so he didn't really appreciate my humor. And we played a Gurgenitsa Modern, and he played the most critical engine line of the Gurgenitsa. And I got into some mess, but I was navigating it well, and I played a phenomenal game, and I won. So we're on 6-0 against this poor 2000 rated Nikolai. And he just, I can't believe, he's gone a whole year, probably improved his chess, improved his lines, improved his knowledge, improved his experience. And 1 year later, he still loses to the same jammy bastard that plays these dodgy openings. Oh man, it was such a good feeling. Such a good feeling. So yeah, I finished on 6 out of 9 in this Blitz tournament. But oh shit, almost dropped my phone. Yeah, 6 out of 9 was a good result. So actually, when I head back to Bangkok in a few days, um, actually tomorrow, unfortunately. Wait, let me check the time. Let me make sure. Okay, we're good for time. I've got like another 10 minutes probably. Yeah, no, I've got a rated rapid and blitz, so very excited to test myself. So Jan's line against knight f3 is knight f3, knight f6, c4, c5, g3, d5. So the tempo is spent on g3, but g3 is... Oh, I don't know. I'm too difficult to think about these move order issues. I don't know, man. I've got a message from some random dude saying, "Stop this live," and GFUS. I don't even know what GFUS means. So that's one perk of being ignorant, is like you can't insult an ignorant person. Welcome, Anazan. How's it going? How are things in... Why do I always forget the name? Why do I always forget the name of where you are? See, poor memory. But okay, you know, that state of Malaysia, which I've forgotten. Hope things are good where you are. I want to say Selangor, but it's not Selangor. I don't remember. Sorry. Hope you're doing well, Anazan. Yeah, good thing you have the good kind of autism, for real. Now, having autistic clashes with people, that's the worst. I was thinking of Gabriel. Fuck me, Gabriel's also cancerous. God, who's worse between Gabriel and this guy? Probably this guy is worse, to be honest. Because at least Gabriel has some redeeming features in the sense that, like, you know, he's organized some chess. Like, seems to have, like, a daughter that, you know, seems to love his father from the outside, at least. I don't know. Like, you know, we had our thing, but, like, you know, I don't think he's as terrible as this person, to be honest. Show me that game, I need to see it. I don't have a game against this guy, though, because it was played in person, and obviously the game's on DGT board. Ah, Sabah. Yeah, Sabah. Yeah. I forgot the name. And the whole area, well, what is the whole area called? So Sabah is like one part of it. Oh, why do I forget? I don't know. You're currently studying my Gurgenitz course. Yeah, Gabriel was worse at chess though, for sure. Definitely. Glad to hear you're studying the Gurgenitz course. Hope it Borneo, yes. Yeah, no. Tough to remember. Wow, I've actually caught up with chat. That's crazy. The daughter loves his father. British people speak so beautifully. That's crazy. I have all my over-the-board games entered digitally. Wow. I guess I could have tried entering the games. I only entered the games I lost, because those were the games I really wanted to look at. What's the point of entering the game where I crushed this idiot? I skipped a bunch. I don't know, man. I tried to read them in chronological order. I don't know. Give me a break. But yeah, no. I think we've covered some interesting, insightful comments. Today's gonna go crazy because I'm already in an introspective mood, and I'm gonna smoke the purest weed of my life, and I'm gonna, you know, meet some amazing people while I'm there, because I'm gonna explain the fact that, you know, like, I'm leaving tomorrow, and they're gonna love me. I'm gonna love them. It's gonna be amazing. We have a good time. So yeah, I'll let you know how that all goes. Yeah, mentally checking in in a good way. So yeah, no, life is very good. Yeah, and we just got to keep chugging along. I like to call it choo-choo training along. Like you try not to deep things. You try and just do what's best based on what you understand, and you just stick to that because things go wrong when you start. I don't know, not following what you know is correct. So because we've reached a point where we know a lot of things are correct and what I need to put in terms of work and training, just got to do it. Just got to do it and just keep playing, just keep loving the game. And yeah, the results will come. I mean, like I'm really on some good form. There's no reason to doubt my chess. So yeah, play a lot and choo-choo indeed. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in today, and hope you enjoyed this random introspective convo. I'll quickly show you guys a view of my balcony. It's nothing that special. You see like the mountains in the distance. I'm probably heading in that direction, heading deep into the forest. Just on some random balcony here. But man, just look up the weather in Chiang Mai and just check the weather all year round and just see how perfect that is. Like, yo, it is, you cannot get better than this. So yeah, Chiang Mai's a vibe, and I'm gonna collect my necklace, get some ramen, and then go to my very, very special place, which is probably my favorite place on the face of this planet. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and see you in the next stream. Okay, bye guys.